Welcome back, tribe. It's your girl, Michelle Jones here with another episode of Tribe of Many Nations. I feel like I haven't done that in a long time because we've been doing like really dark, creepy videos, so I've been all like in the zone. But today I'm feeling frisky and wondering why I chose to use the word frisky, but whatever. I swear weird shit's been happening in here for whatever reason. Okay, shut up, Michelle. It's nothing. Anyway, today, even though I'm feeling super happy and positive, we are still going to dive into demonology, but it's going to be a little bit different. It's not going to be as like dark and suffocating as it normally is. But today we're going to talk about demons and demonic names. We're not going to bring the hierarchy into it. We're not going to bring like specific doctrine and religious dogma into it. We're going to talk about the fact that a lot of people, including many demonologists, get really wrapped up in finding out a demon's name. Now here's the deal. With exorcism, especially with Catholic exorcisms from what I've seen and what I've read about, finding out the demon's name is a very important step. It's not a step that you want to take lightly. It's not something that you want to forget about. All demons, from what I understand, through Christianity anyway, have names, kind of like people do, and angels and all that good stuff. So demons have these names, and supposedly finding out their name gives us power over them, or gives the exorcist power over the demon to be able to exorcise the demon in the name of Jesus Christ. So there's that. That's cool. Yeah. But I feel like a lot of demonologists, people who are studying demonology, get so wrapped up in the divisive categories, the names, the hierarchies, the this, the that they kind of miss the whole point of studying demonology and like learning how to cope with, deal with, and overcome these negative entities. Because I do think that some people believe that demonology is only the study and categorization of demons based on their name and their rank in hell and their this and their that. And there are a lot of really interesting books out there that break all of that shit down for you. There's a whole dictionary of demons. There's all sorts of ancient texts even that bring into play names, that bring into play the ranks that each individual demon has in hell. Are they a prince of hell? Are they a king of hell? Are they a foot soldier? Whatever you want to call them, right? So even though I don't want my demonology channel to become all about the names and breaking down these individual demons, because I don't believe in really giving these creatures the time of day. But something I do want to touch on is the names and how different religions and different viewpoints view those specific demonic entities. Now, when I first started this demonology series, I swore up and down I wasn't going to do what I'm about to do, which is basically say a lot of demonic names out loud over and over and over again. But at the same time, I think it is important for us to start kind of taking a little bit of an outside approach to demonology and not just focusing on the Christian viewpoint. Because even though the entire study of demonology pretty much came out of Christianity, demons are not only known in Christianity. They go back much further than that. And a lot of these names that we're going to go over in some of the videos that are coming up, these names have been around for centuries. They've been around for a long time. So we are going to talk about them in relationship to Christianity, but we're also going to talk about these names and what they mean in their original languages and what they mean for people in other religions as well. So what better name to start off with than Abaddon? Now some people say Abaddon, some people say Abaddon. I feel like it's more Abaddon because it's spelled with 2 D's, but whatever. The name Abaddon has been around for a very long time, and it is featured, I want to say, 6 times in the Bible. I think it's mentioned five times in the Old Testament and at least once in the New Testament, which is in Revelation. Abaddon is really only mentioned in the New Testament in Revelation. And in the Old Testament, from the verses that I looked up, a lot of the verses were referencing an actual place and not necessarily a being in and of itself. So the word Abaddon actually means to destroy in Greek, or wherever that word came from. It basically means to destroy, and in the Bible, a lot of the times it was used in reference to a place of destruction, an abyss, a place of death. Obviously a place that none of us want to go and visit or vacation. But there were a few verses that referenced Abaddon in an almost creature-like, angelic-like state. So there's been a lot of different theories back and forth between demonologists and between people who study theology and stuff like that. Okay, like, was Abaddon an angel? Was he a fallen angel? Was he a demon? Was it just in reference to a place? Because there's a lot of times in the Bible that they reference things like justice and pestilence and things like that as beings and not just as things that happen or places that exist. So it can get a little bit confusing as to what they actually meant. So Abaddon is in reference to an angel of death, an angel of destruction, and there are some texts in the Gnostic texts that almost make him seem like he was charged with this angel of destruction title by God. There are some Gnostic texts that actually reference him being sent down to earth by God to torture and basically harass humans during the apocalypse, the humans that are left on earth, the humans that do not bear the mark of God on their forehead, which is very disturbing if you think about it, because and most Christians obviously don't really look at the Gnostic texts. They don't look at anything outside of the Bible because it's not part of their holy book, But at the same time, I do feel like most, and I'm not saying all, so if you're not one of these Christians, please don't get all uppity and antsy and bitchy about it. But I do feel like most Christians tend to categorize God as all good. He is all good. He is incapable of doing evil. Yes, he allows evil things to happen, but it's for the greater good, yada, yada, yada. But if the theories and theology that tell us that God sends Abaddon with his army of locusts or fallen angels or angels down to earth to torture and possibly mutilate the human beings who do not bear the mark of God, that kind of takes God out of the all good category. That kind of paints him in a much darker picture, which I'm fine with because I've always had a hard time wrapping my mind around an all good God anyway, but I feel like a lot of Christians would definitely argue that. And then of course there's a more satanistic, whatever kind of word I'm thinking of, version of Abaddon, where he is a follower of Satan. He is one of Satan's minions, but is a very high-ranking demon, obviously, because he has his army of locusts, which are, from my understanding, an army of demons. Foot soldiers, whatever you want to call them, and he rises up out of the abyss. Like in Revelations, they reference the demonic horsemen rising up out of the abyss, and they are led by Abaddon. Abaddon is their leader, their king, whatever you want to call it, the king of locusts. So it's kind of hard to say, because in some texts he is referred to as God's right-hand angel, which doesn't make sense because I thought that was Michael, and then some people say no, that's Jesus, and I'm just like, wait, wasn't Jesus there? Anyway, let's not get all wrapped up in theology because it can be very, very confusing and very just weird, just very weird. But the word Abaddon was actually found in the Key of Solomon, which is not the Bible, I'll grant you that, and a lot of Christians do not look at the Key of Solomon as any kind of like historical, factual, or even theological book to reference. But the word Abaddon was found in the Key of Solomon to mean God. Like Moses cried out to Abaddon, referencing God, to bring about these destructive rains that killed people. So that kind of goes back to the whole theory that the word Abaddon simply means to destroy. It doesn't necessarily mean it is the name of a demon. It is not necessarily an actual creature or being. Mainly it just means to destroy, a place of destruction, an act of destruction. So yeah. There's another name that you see referenced along with Abaddon, which I'm not entirely sure I'm saying this right, but it looks like Apollyon, however you want to say it. But they both mean the destroyer or destruction. So it's all about destruction, right? This is either the guy or the place where epic chaos and destruction is about to take place or has already taken place. And creepily enough, Abaddon was also mentioned in the Dead Sea Scrolls as an overlord of hell. So even back in the ancient texts, I feel like people weren't really sure who Abaddon was, what he was, if he was an actual being, and things like that. Now, some claim that Abaddon himself was Satan, and that, he's just another term used for Satan. Satan's the destroyer. But honestly, Satan is usually called the deceiver, the father of lies, things like that. Yeah, he can be called the destroyer, but I feel like Satan himself is not quite the same thing as what they're talking about when they say Abaddon. But maybe that's just me. Also, if you look back into the Gnostic texts, there are some references there that refer to Abaddon being present at the creation of man, where he's like an archangel that gathered up the dirt that God eventually formed into Adam. And if that's true, then it's kind of interesting because he would be both there at the creation of man and at the destruction of man. There's some duality there that is interesting. So just like some people claim that Satan and Abaddon are the same thing, some people claim that Abaddon and Lucifer are the same thing, which makes a lot of sense because people often mistake Satan for Lucifer, Lucifer for Satan, and let's just not even go into that today. That's a whole nother video. But if you look at the theology surrounding each individual, and again, we're not entirely sure if Abaddon even is an individual archangel or demon. He's only really referred to as a being in the Bible a couple of times. But Lucifer's mentioned as well, and Lucifer was mentioned like with his legend, myth, theology, whatever. He's kicked out of heaven. He's kicked out of heaven, sent down to earth, sent down to the abyss because he rose up against God. But on the other hand, Abaddon was sent to earth and kind of sent to the abyss, if you will, to reap out whatever people have coming to them who don't bear the mark of God. So Lucifer was cast out, but Abaddon was sent out with a mission. So I really don't think they're the same thing, if they even are creatures, even if they exist at all. So at the end of the day, what are your thoughts? Do you think Abaddon could be a demonic king, leader of hell? Could he be an archangel sent to make our lives miserable in the last days? And of course, like, Satanists look at demons in a totally different way. I'm actually planning on doing a video in the near future, if I can ever get a hold of a local Satanist who can talk to me, about how Satanists themselves really see demons. Do they view demons as actual supernatural beings? Some of them claim to see them as supernatural beings that you can sacrifice to and call upon for help, while others don't believe in any kind of supernatural beings at all. They just look more at Satan and demons as a rebellion against organized, dogmatic religion, which is cool. Like, that's cool. That's whatever. But at the same time, I've always been one to believe in the supernatural, which is so odd because I've had like maybe one experience that could possibly be in the realm of paranormal, but I don't know. There's just something at my core that knows without the shadow of a doubt that the supernatural exists, that demons exist. But at the same time, I'm not saying that all demons are Christian demons, if that makes any sense at all. But yeah, we are going to start diving into the names, the references, different things like that. But at the same time, don't get too wrapped up in these names, guys. Demonology is a very vast study. You can be a demonologist and study demons only in Islam or in Christianity or in ancient Asian religions like Buddhism. There are exorcists in almost every major religion in the world. And there are evil negative spirits, and in a lot of other religions they are not referenced to as demons, they're referenced to as other names like the jinn, other things like that. So we're going to be diving into that slowly but surely. We are. It's going to be kind of a creepy journey. So that's all I have for you today, guys. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I'm hoping this video is a little bit shorter and quicker than most of my videos are. I do kind of want to start shortening the videos down some because I know that hearing me ramble forever can get a little annoying sometimes. But the next video to come up will probably just be a random witchy talk because I miss you guys. I miss just hanging out with y'all and talking about random shit. And yeah, I hope y'all are all having a wonderful day, a wonderful month, and a wonderful year. And be sure to comment down below if you have any thoughts, or if you have any interesting tidbits that you think we would enjoy knowing about Abaddon. And be sure to like and subscribe to the channel and share the video if you want to, or don't. I don't really care. I love you all and have a great day.